right. Mr. Kallmeyer back again for another Coffee for Closers.
We are back. We're
right.
back again.
We're talking about the best virtual appointment process or platforms, out there on the market after 3 months almost of COVID-19 kind of disrupting our whole industry out there. We're chatting, just wanting to know, because a ton of advisors out there are a little confused on what platform's the best, which one do I spend money on, which one should I be using for what process. So we're going to unpack just a tiny bit of that here in the next 20 minutes. And Mr. Kallmeyer, you've been living that for the last 3 months.
At least,
yeah. Living
prior
virtually.
experience as well, but last 3 months definitely living in it.
Yeah. So, talking about virtual platforms is always deep rooted in what you're trying to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
It's always set there. And so what I think advisors might be struggling with is knowing or figuring out what they're doing most of, right? Like, what are they going to use this platform for the most, right? Am I going to use it to present something? Are you going to use it to sit down with people on appointments? Are you legitimately going to share files? Are you going to share your screen? Are you going to have them share their screen? Are you going to close all your deals over the phone, but you just want to send emails to somebody, right? Like, what are all the different things that you'll want to be doing with the client? And then deciding what software.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to use most of it?
Yeah. Find your purpose, find your wants out of the software, and then obviously, let that choose.
Right. But what we need to talk about today is let's just dive through the big three.
Yeah. Which does what well, and where they perform
what I
at.
would use each one of these three for, right?
Mm-hmm.
First one being Zoom, which has been the most popular, right? Like, it's been in the news a lot. Some good, some bad news, right? Yeah. Two is the Go-To platform.
Both meeting and webinar.
And three would be join.me.
Yep.
And four, I would say Web Connects. And we'll talk about that just in a minute or two, or Skype. And you could throw all like the ancillary ones into that pocket.
Which I'd like to touch on that for a second. I love how Skype has been in this space for years, like 10 years.
Right.
And they were immediately blown out of the water by all these new people that came out. Like, just wild.
But that was like a video call service,
What is like GoToWebinar? It's the same thing. I mean, the only thing I know that they didn't
really
do
the screen sharing.
It's a screen share, but how hard is that to enter into it? Like, everybody's got that.
I don't know.
So,
I think there was some buying and stuff of companies and trading around and stuff like that. Because I think Cisco or somebody owned them or bought them.
Okay.
But anyway.
Makes sense.
Besides the point. Let's talk about Zoom.
Yep.
Right? So, what do you think of when you think of Zoom?
Face-to-face communication.
Yeah.
I mean, the FaceTime of computers.
That's what I would say.
That's core. Yeah.
Zoom,
if you're doing face-to-face meetings, like in your appointment where like I want to see you, you want to see me, add that personal touch to it.
Right.
It's Zoom. I mean, period.
So for the advisor out there that's doing a lot of meetings with folks, and let's say you're an advisor that feels like you present well, that a lot of your sales are done because you communicate with your person visually. Maybe you feel like, my true self doesn't come through a phone. Maybe you have a heavy accent. Maybe you have just something about you that you feel like is charming. Maybe you're just really, really good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use what
Who
you
knows,
got.
right?
Use what you got.
Then you want to use a platform like Zoom, because Zoom is going to allow you to connect. And the good thing about Zoom that I feel like is their saving grace is that it's very easy for the consumer to jump into a Zoom.
Yeah.
Not as easy as join.me. Not as easy as
join.
join.me.
Yeah.
But as far as the ones that are going to be your best for quick connections, being able to do the most visually, Zoom is your platform, because you can set up a nice little background for yourself, right? And that's become very popular. If you've seen any of the people in the news, like these news anchors that are having to work from home right now, they're able to do that and make their house that might be cluttered with kid stuff and all these things, and their office has been torn down for the newborn or whatever it is, and now they've got this really great looking office. Well, that's just a Photoshop office that they've created in Photoshop and they've placed over top.
Or you can do your own internal office.
Or you can do
take
your
a
own
picture of your own office
oh,
and
man.
then put that up there.
That was the big thing at our office when we were at home. Everybody came into the office, took a picture of their office, and brought it back to their house, threw that up as their Zoom background, and it looked like we were all in our offices, which was really great.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. But that allows you to then communicate the way you typically would. And I know I would feel that way. If I was in the field out there selling to folks, I'd want that visual because I feel like, you know, I'm very handsy when I'm talking to people. There's a lot of emotion there.
Yeah.
And I'd want to convey that. And the phone doesn't always do a great job of conveying who you are as a person. So
that's coming from like an original phone salesman, somebody who's on the phone more, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, all the time, all
Yeah.
day, like on the phone. So knowing the difference, still being able to communicate in person versus phone.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of differences there. Yeah. And when I think of the other platforms, I'm like, they do all have camera features. Join Me does, right?
Join Me does, and that's what I was going to say. The more core difference between Zoom and Join.me is that to get all those like really cool additional features that you get for free, with Zoom, you have to pay and create an account, which means your client has to.
Right.
So to do the videos, to do the screen share, where like they can take over control of your mouse, all that kind of additional stuff.
They need to have an account.
They got to
too.
make an account too, which is the hard part of it.
That's a great point.
That's the lockdown.
The big issue with Zoom is, or the big convenience with Zoom is, you want to take over your other person's screen? Great. If you have an account yourself, or there's even free account. A free account allows you to do
You
almost
just
everything.
make an account, but it's all free.
Right. All free.
Yeah.
And you're going to go in there and you're going to be able to take control of a consumer screen. You can, this has been really big with the Fed marketplace because, okay, they need to log into their TSP.
Yeah.
They don't know how to get there.
Yep.
And you can log into their computer or you can have
Sit
them
with them
pass
and tell
presenter
them,
role. Right. And then you can log in as the advisor or get the control of their computer to get them to the place where they need to enter their username and password. Then get them
Pass
in
it
there.
back to them, let
pass
them
it back
log
to
in.
them. And then now they can go over, download the form they need to download and get the signatures that you need to make this sale happen.
Yeah, you don't have to play the game anymore of like, no, to the left, to the
Zoom
left,
is
to the
going
right,
to
too
make that
far.
the best.
Yep.
Now, we'll talk about Join Me in just a second, but let's talk about GoTo, the GoToMeeting platform. The GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar platform is one of the most popular, or was one of the most popular ones from a professional standpoint. Communications between offices. Here's the benefit to it. It's a little more complex than, say, a GoToWeb or a
Especially
Zoom.
Join.me or a Zoom.
Or a Join.me. It's a lot more comprehensive. But you have the benefit of the majority of, I'd say, your white-collar workers out there having been very familiar with the platform, especially the Fed government. If you're working with Fed employees, this is the standard virtual meeting platform that they use in the federal government.
Was it really?
Yeah. So when you're talking with Fed employees, you're talking with somebody that understands GoToWebinar, which is why you see the influx. They're able to access it at work.
Makes sense.
They can log into it. They're not going to get blocked or anything like that. So GoToMeeting is a fantastic option for those that are working in the Fed space, but also just in general, because here's what I love about GoTo, and I use GoTo for almost everything. These documents that you want to send over to somebody, let's say you want to send your app packet. Let's say you're in a closing meeting virtually, and you need them to fill out an application or a couple pages. You can have these things preloaded into the meeting that you can then distribute to the other person.
That is a really cool part of it.
And you just hand it right over to them, and they'll get a pop-up on their screen that says, oh, here's something to download. Do you want to download it? Click yes.
Now, can you do that live while you're in the meeting? Like if you're face-to-face doing the close and you don't happen to have the documents loaded up, can you just load them in at that time and send it basically like that? Okay.
Yeah, you can just auto-attach things.
Okay, cool.
And it just acts as this pass-through. It's like I'm going to load it up to this thing, and then it bleeds through and goes through to the other side.
Yeah.
Right? And now you've got the document you need, and you can just load it right back up into the meeting, boop, and it comes right back
That's
down.
cool. Little Dropbox built
It's like a little Dropbox, but it only exists while the meeting's in session, right? And then not only that, you have recording features if you need to. You have all kinds of like anecdotes, like pens and stuff, and we'll get to. Join Me has a lot of that, which is really nice as well. But the issue with Join.me, GoToWebinar.
GoToWebinar.
The issue with GoToWebinar is the fact that I'm going to send you some link. The link you're going to have to click. It's going to download a software to your computer, and then you're going to have to get that up and going.
That's always the hard part, especially with like some of those generations. As soon as you start downloading something on the computer, it can be game over. I know for at least like my parents, stuff like that, like they don't download anything on the computer if they don't have to.
Exactly.
So now, is there a free version of GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar as well? No, so there's
Trial.
a downside too.
There's a trial.
Yeah.
There's always a trial, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other side of it is join.me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last one.
Yep.
Aside from all the other little ancillary ones.
Yeah.
But these are the big three. These are the big three that you need to know about. Join.me is by far the easiest for the consumer.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, silly easy. You'll go in. Now, remember, you got to pay to have the video thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay for them to be able to touch anything. So any sort of signing or you'd have to do that through like an email correspondence and hope that they respond back. And that can be annoying. But as far as showing them something on the screen and maybe even showing your face.
You can do the video. Video is still free. So both you and the client can get on the video free. It just comes to anywhere they're interacting with whatever you're doing. They have to have an account. So it's, they're in your meeting, and it really is that way.
And that's going to be the hang up for me. And there are others that have made join.me work, but a lot of times for first appointments. But if we're forced to do our entire sales process through to the end virtually,
Going Zoom.
I'm going to join me. I'm going to go to meeting.
GoToMeeting?
I'm going to go to meeting.
Going Zoom. I think, and I would disagree, I think join.me is really good for your second appointments.
Yeah.
Because that's when you're really diving into stuff and you want to show the client things, and that's where really the only reason they need to see your screen or any documents is that second meeting. Maybe the first if you're like a too close kind of guy, but it's really where you're going over things and you want them to see a policy, or a report of any kind, and you want to walk them through that stuff and draw on the screen.
You're right.
First appointment, I would still go Zoom because you're going to be looking face to face, and it's a lot smoother, better, like pixel rate and those kind of things.
Okay,
with Zoom.
let's do that then. Let's do. Let's run one scenario of you had to pick one of these three for your entire appointment process, or two, you'll pick one for each spot of a three appointment process.
I go, in my opinion,
let's do the first
Zoom
one
all
is
three.
Zoom all three as your best all around.
I'm going Zoom because
For
it's
first
free. Might
appointment.
as well first appointment. Join.me second, and then probably go to meeting, not webinar. I wouldn't play for the webinar platform, but go to meeting.
Yeah,
As my third, as my close.
here's what I would do. My all overall is going to be GoToMeeting. I'm very biased though, folks. I've used GoToMeeting for everything.
Yeah.
But here's why. If I ever wanted to or needed them to sign anything or needed to take control of their screen or needed to help them figure something out or data enter something, get them to fill out, a lot of times in those first or second appointments, depending on your process, you're needing them to get their Social Security statements or find some other statement that they have to get it over to you. I need to be able to help them, and the easiest platform I know to be able to take control of somebody's computer is GoToMeeting.
Yeah.
And as far as and by easiest, I don't mean just for me, for them to give the control to me.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of it, Zoom would be a very close second for me because Zoom is free. There's a cost to GoToMeeting, and it pretty much does all of those things. The only problem is passing documents or doing those types of things.
Email.
You got to do by email. I do think there's an option you can pay for to be able to do those things with Zoom. But Zoom, just for me, it is still microscopically easier for the client to get onto Zoom. They still need to download Zoom, which auto does it. Like it auto does it when you click the link, it automatically starts to download it. It's like it's a hyperlink. So it's not going to create some headache of where they need to go find the program and download it and give permissions and stuff like that. It depends on how their computer's set up, but generally they click the link, it starts to download, they're prompted to open the thing, and then they start the meeting right away.
So but you're cheating. He's cheating because you do a lot of actual webinars.
Yeah.
And both Zoom and Join.me have nothing for like an actual webinar basis where you're bringing a bunch of people to it. You're doing kind of follow-up marketing or follow-up.
Well, yeah, GoToWebinar is the only platform that really does webinars well. And we could talk about webinars, but a lot of
different
advisors,
conversation. But you're still a little biased because you got on the webinar kind of platform as well. It's like a paired deal. So
yeah. I think no, there's definitely some bias there. I don't disagree with your choice to do Zoom, but I don't think Join Me offers enough to get me through 3 appointments.
No.
It would never do it.
No, I don't think so either.
Here's what I would do for the splitting 3 appointments up. Best first appointment software. I'm I'm going to go with Zoom.
Yeah.
I'm with you there.
Just because it's easy.
It's
You got their
easy.
trust in the
I'm
second
gonna
and third
flip
one.
up on a camera. I might even do Google Hangouts for that.
Yeah.
For that first appointment. Real easy.
Okay.
Almost everybody has a Google account or a Gmail account, so those things flip on real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Google Hangout.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to do join.me for the second.
You're doing join.me for the second
Appointment. Just because I only really need them. I'm going with GoToMeeting.
You going to meeting?
I'm going to flip back to it because GoToMeeting then is going to allow me to, if there's a hiccup on join.me, as far as needing them to give me something in order to follow through with my report or something like that, or I need them to sign something, or we need to look at their TSP account or something like that, whatever it might be, I'm pretty much doomed. And I have to get back on either Zoom or GoToMeeting to do it.
I may switch. I don't know. I might switch mine too as well to go to join.me on the first one as I'm sitting here thinking about it because like it's so much easier to get on.
That's what I'm saying.
If
That's
you can
what
get the client onto join.me, if you can get them onto it, the second and third appointment, I mean, you can have them sign up for whatever. I mean, you could. Doesn't matter what it is. If they got to download whatever it is, like they've already met you, they trust you. You make it to the second call. They're already looking at moving their money with you. Doesn't matter. I mean, you can tell them to download whatever, and they're going to download it.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's fair.
Number 1, first appointment, join.me. Number 2 and 3, GoToMeeting for Mr. Al over here.
Go in different bucket. Join.me 1, Zoom 2, and 3.
All right. Well, that's that's fair enough.
Fair.
It's just a preference thing. But here's the thing. All of these platforms need training.
Yep.
All of these platforms you need to get proficient with because there are frustrations.
Yep.
And our best advice, I think we can both agree, is that being trapped with one would be pretty tough because you would be forced to do something else. But if you had to, and you had to choose one, just always know that if something goes wrong on this entire endeavor, while you're getting loaded up, all you need to do is keep cool, get them on the phone, and then do it back and forth through email. Most of these folks are doomed to a virtual process, and they're willing to stick it out with you. And none of these consumers that we've seen to this point have been anything less than ultra lenient as far as giving some forgiveness for technical issues.
Yeah, man.
I mean, there's nothing to worry about at all.
I don't think there's anything on this planet that people relate more to than technical issues and how frustrating they can be. So whether you can't get something to work or they can't get it to work, it may be frustrating, but like usually it's just like, we're both up a creek, bud. Yeah. So,
but here's the thing that we should both agree on for sure. If you're working in the Fed space with Fed employees because of their platform, because of where they are, GoToMeeting is going to be your number one option. So if you're closing deals right now in the Fed space or you're looking to close more deals virtually in the Fed space, GoToMeeting. Yeah. You call us. Talk to any of us here at Megastar. We're here to help. Rick and your team has been helping tons of people this whole COVID-19 crisis with this problem. What do they need to do to get in touch with you?
Well, I would say the first thing first, I know we're a little late to the party as far as getting some content out this format on the coronavirus and web platforms.
Yeah, but we've done it through other ventures.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But this is as well going to be something for sure going into the future. We have a lot of advisors that are kind of moving their whole practice to web-based. And if you're not shored up on it, if you're not comfortable with it and really selling through it, it's something you need to start doing, at least taking a look at a lot deeper. And if you need help, give us a shout here on the main line. Whatever. We got to spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours working through all of it. We'll get it figured out and get you comfortable.
There are plenty of options, but just know that this thing, like Rick said just now, is not going away. I would say any advisor out there, no matter what, a good chunk of your sales going forward because of this, what happened with COVID, is going to end up being virtual. There's a lot of consumers out there that got a taste for virtual sales or virtual opportunities, virtual appointments, and are accustomed to it. The generation that would only want that is right around the corner.
Yep.
And to be honest, if you're not doing it, there's somebody else cultivating those right now because there are advisors out there that are getting acclimated. So for all those old dogs that are watching this right now, it's time for you to call us and let us walk you through this because we can get you up to snuff. There's a lot of young folks over here that really know this stuff inside and out, can help you. Our entire business model runs virtually. You've got to think of that. We know that here at your IMO, and we're here to help you. Rick,
let us know.
Thanks so much for sharing some of your wisdom here on this this complicated topic right now. Yeah. And everybody else, if you have questions, call us at the main line. Should be right on your screen. Don't forget to keep tuning in here at Coffee for Closers. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Rick.
Absolute pleasure, man. Thanks for having me as always.
Take care. Thanks, everybody. Easy.